Welcome everybody to the Captain Spot. I'm your host Justin Freeman, 6 foot 1 inches, 275 pounds, fantasy knowledge. And yeah, if you're looking right now, guys, you can see we're not in the usual setup. We are here, family Christmasing it with the in-laws. It's all going well. Got 2 kids, ages 3 and under. They're rocking and rolling. They're 100 mile an hour. They're napping right now. We're gonna get you this Captain Spot lickety split. We're talking about a game between Browns and Giants. This looks like it should be an interesting one, kind of low scoring, get an opportunity to play it a little bit weird. Overall, we're talking about a quarterback situation that's evolving there where it looks like Daniel Jones is going to miss for the Giants. We're expecting Colt McCoy to play in this game. It gives us some interesting opportunities for creative ideas here on this particular slate. Let's hop right in to the injury report where, we're starting with the idea of Daniel Jones missing here this game, but we also have a number of questionable players here this game. Kadarius Hodge for Cleveland, wide receiver. Austin Hooper and David Njoku, tight ends for Cleveland, all listed as questionable here in this game. It seems like Hooper is on track towards playing. Hodge, I'm a little bit less optimistic on. Njoku's a little bit question mark, popped up as a DNP late in the week. That's always a scary situation. So we're going to project all these players in for right now. But keep in mind, if we start losing players, we can certainly start trimming down the target tree. That gives us a little bit more confidence in each of the other players remaining in the offense. Another pair of tight ends on the Giants side of the football also listed questionable here this week. Caden Smith, Evan Ingram. Reports just came out that they are expected to play here in this game. On top of that, running back Devontae Freeman is eligible to return off of the COVID list. He was on injured reserve and then on the COVID reserve list, and now is eligible to return off that. So, we may see him, we may not. We want to make sure we are keeping an eye on the news throughout the afternoon. But overall, let's hop right into the pricing where we'll start with the quarterbacks. As always, 10-6 for Baker Mayfield, who's been playing really good football here lately. The defense for Cleveland has been lackluster, and that's really put a lot of pressure on Baker, and he has, thrived so far here this, last few weeks and playing phenomenal football. And that's really came by boosting up players like Kareem Hunt, boosting up players like Jarvis Landry, Hollywood Higgins. These guys are all in consideration. So why don't we work our way through that Cleveland offense where I mentioned Kareem Hunt, 7K here for Kareem Hunt this week. On the other side, Nick Chubb, 11-2. So, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, obviously a 1-2 committee there, whereas Chubb is the preferred early down runner, Hunt the late down pass catching specialist. So overall, that seems to be how Cleveland is using these guys. Hunt has 3 times as much of a target market share in this offense, about 4% for Chubb and 12% for Hunt, to give you an idea of how this team's using them in the passing game. And so in a game where we are expecting Cleveland to be in control, we can certainly give a little bit of a bump to Nick Chubb. We're expecting his rushing attempt load to increase in a game where they are up throughout. Give you a little bit of an indication. Last week was the infamous Cleveland Baltimore Lamar poop game, and in that game, Nick Chubb, 61% of the team's rushes compared to 21% there for Kareem Hunt, to give you an indication of sort of how they're being used. Now that's a little exaggerated based on what it's looked like for the rest of the year. It's been a little bit more of a rushing floor there for Kareem Hunt, but still, it just shows you this team wants to be able to run the ball with Nick Chubb, and Kareem Hunt's sort of their jack-of-all-trades option there. So big price difference, $4,200 more to get up to Nick Chubb, but in a game that has this type of projected game script to it, Chubb could be a guy worth paying up for in this offense. To talk about the rest of the Cleveland side here, Austin Hooper expected to come back this week, $4,200 for him at the tight end position. We're looking at a 3-man rotation there at tight end, with Hooper being the clear number 1, and David Njoku and Harrison Bryant filling a committee role behind Hooper in that offense. It's $3,200 for Harrison Bryant and $3,400 for David Njoku. Both those guys are in play, but if Njoku sits, I am very interested once again in going back to Harrison Bryant along with Austin Hooper. I think that is a really unique way to get creative and unique in your lineups, is playing 2 tight ends from the same team. That's something nobody really wants to do. So you could play Hooper and Bryant in the same lineup. They can be on the field together a lot. They can both pay off with Baker. So there's half your lineup right there. Baker, Hooper, and Bryant, if you're going to build that particular way, just makes it really easy for you. when you're thinking about how to build that way. We don't want to get any deeper than that at the tight end position for Cleveland, but a wide receiver, this is a tough secondary here in New York. So want to sort of temper expectations for what we expect all of the pass catchers do, but especially the wide receivers in this offense. That includes Jarvis Landry, but more specifically, it includes Rashard Higgins, who I think is a little bit overpriced this week at 8,200. Landry will cost you 9,800, has really projectable target volume, really strong catch rate, but overall might be able to be used a little bit more dynamically across the offense to avoid tough matchups. That may not be the same for our guy Rashard Higgins, 8,200, a little bit too heavy of a price for me in this offense. Now Donovan Peoples-Jones, 4,600, big play specialist, could be involved or will be involved as well. It's a really tight three-wide set there. There's been a little bit of Jamarcus Bradley, but overall, it's really been those three wide receivers on the field all the time for the Browns. So we don't want to get too deep beyond that. 4,600 there for Donovan Peoples-Jones. So if you're playing sort of the splash play game, you can get there with Peoples-Jones, who saw 13% of the team's targets last week. And if he can stay sort of in that range where he's getting about 4 targets, you're really just hoping he can house one of those, given his big play threat. So, think about like playing Mecole Hardman, but in a crappier offense. That's the idea there with Peoples-Jones. Now, on the other side, let's talk about the Giants, where we are expecting to possibly get Devonta Freeman activated in time for this game, in which case it really makes a nightmare situation there for the Giants. You're going to have a little bit of Gallman, you're going to have a little bit of Freeman, maybe a little bit of Alfred Morris, unless he is declared inactive in this game. But we don't like muddy running back situations, especially for teams that we don't expect to score a lot of points. It's just a really, really bad situation for us to have to project which guy is going to get the touchdown, which guy is going to benefit from different scripts. It's just kind of a bad situation. We don't know whether the team wants to reinsert Devonta Freeman as the RB1 in this offense, or if they're cool with what they've seen from Wayne Gallman, which has actually been a pretty productive running back over the last couple weeks. So I'm actually more attracted to some of the surefire passing game options in this offense, particularly Sterling Shepard and Evan Ingram. We look at the way this three-wide set emerges, and once again, the Giants use a pretty dedicated three-wide set, much like Cleveland does. It's Sterling Shepard, it's Darius Slayton, and it's Golden Tate. No need to look beyond that. And Darius Slayton, 6,200, Sterling Shepard, 7,200, Golden Tate, 2,400, to give you a sense of where those prices fall. But to me, it's Sterling Shepard who's shown the more consistent target volume throughout the course of the season. I don't want to look too deep in it beyond that. He's, in a game where we expect the pass attempts to be up for New York, I think that I would rather just make my bet in the high PPR upside of Sterling Shepard. At the tight end position, I mentioned Evan Ingram, only $5K for Evan Ingram, which I think is very underpriced. Now, granted, a guy like Colt McCoy not going to push the ball down the field a lot, which is something we're looking for when we're playing a player like Evan Ingram. But we know that Evan Ingram can be a yak guy, yards after catch, a guy who can make a play if you just get him the freaking football. So, those are the two high target options that I'm really interested in. And, we want to make sure we are aware of who's playing in this game at the tight end position. It's Evan Ingram, Caden Smith, and Levine Toilolo. And, we want to make sure all those guys are healthy and active. And if they're not, we want to adjust expectations accordingly. But, I mentioned, the tight set. The Austin Mack and CJ Board are a couple guys who are also getting a few snaps, but they're honestly hardly worth playing at 8% and 2% of the team snaps, respectively, here in the offense last week. So overall, I think that's enough about the pricing. Why don't we hop into ebook, $34.99 for that thing. Make sure that you're subscribing wherever you're getting this YouTube podcast channel, wherever you're getting it. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thanks for putting up with me in my low fidelity setting here. Hope everybody runs hot this weekend. We'll see you over on the Mayo Media Network Monday for the Monday Night Show. Till then, good luck, everybody. See ya.